Hello and welcome back, all my Dragon Ball theorists. One question that pops into my mind is the relationship between Beerus and Moro. I mean, make no mistake, both these beings have been around for millions of years, destroying life in the universe. Is it possible that Beerus and Moro have talked before and come to an agreement? Is it possible that Beerus had Moro doing his dirty work, and one day Moro had ambitions to overthrow our favorite god of destruction to rule the universe? A lot of evidence points to yes for these questions when we look at the history of Beerus and how menacing Moro was 10 million years ago. Beerus has one job: to maintain balance in the universe by destroying life that the Kais create. He is a destroyer god. He visits planets as he sees fit in a quest for food, but imposes his power over anyone to get what he wants, when he wants, and destroys whatever he feels like. It's good to be a god of destruction, and every so often someone powerful enough comes along to actually do your job for you. Then you can kick back, relax, and watch from a distance, or sleep, which we all know Beerus loves. We know that Frieza was one of these powerful fighters that Beerus enjoyed having around. After waking from his slumber, he asked if Frieza had destroyed the Saiyan homeworld, planet Vegeta. Whis, who said, "Wasn't it you who told him to do so while you were asleep?" As we know, Beerus never was fond of the Saiyans, especially King Vegeta. Frieza realistically just had his ambitions align with Beerus because he found the Saiyans to be troublesome and worried that they could eventually rise up. So planet Vegeta was no more. Frieza was the universal tyrant that Beerus enjoyed because he could lay dormant sleeping for a long period of time and know that destruction and chaos would be flowing through the universe. Frieza isn't that old though in Dragon Ball terms, and millions of years ago, there were beings just as threatening and destructive. That being is Moro. When the Galactic Patrol arc started and we had a flashback to the Grand Supreme Kai's battle against Moro 10 million years ago, we learned just how threatening this individual was to the entire universe. Moro was charged with the destruction of the Iragi star system, causing mass extinction on 320 planets, which gave him his known alias, Planet Eater Moro. Obviously someone that possesses the abilities of Moro rampaging through Universe 7, eating hundreds of planets, would have caught the attention of Beerus, right? In manga chapter 46, when Goku and Vegeta were fighting Moro and he started draining the life force from the entire planet, we get a cutaway panel to Beerus fishing with Whis. As we see, Whis is watching something. Planet Namek is exhibiting a sharp decline in energy levels, so he decided to take a peek. Beerus excited. Is the planet about to die? What is important to note here is that just one planet experiencing an extinction level event was enough to cause Whis to look and see what is going on. Nothing can really get past Whis with his all-seeing staff, so there is absolutely no way for Beerus to not know of Moro's existence, who goes around eating hundreds of planets. The very next panel, I missed the implications before, but Beerus basically confirms he knows of Moro's existence by stating, "I barely have to lift a finger here in Universe 7, since every so often some planet buster will come along and do my job for me," confirming that before Frieza, there were others and Beerus enjoyed them because he could sit back and kill time. So how did the first meeting with Moro happen? What was said and agreed upon? Or did Beerus just watch from far and never mind to pay a visit to the guy doing his job for him? Well, Beerus is a curious cat. I mean, he did seek out Goku and the legend of a Super Saiyan god because he wanted a challenge. It's also not like he wasn't ever seen, as he had Whis to travel around with to all these planets so they could provide him with tasty food. So after Moro destroyed his very first planets, it would have been in Beerus' best interest to talk to him and let him know who actually is the boss around here. Besides, there are some planets that Beerus keeps around solely based on their delicious food, and it is unlikely that he would want Moro wiping out his favorite food sources. So one day after Planet Eater Moro was doing his thing, rapidly draining all life from the planet, I would imagine that Beerus and Whis would appear to confront Moro and talk. It is Beerus' job, after all, to keep balance in the universe. When Namek was dying, Whis asked Beerus if he had planned on just letting the situation play out. Unfortunately, they don't have delicious food, so it isn't a concern for him. With that said, it is doubtful that he would let any planet buster go on a rampage without confrontation, especially if it was a planet that Beerus did care about. The day Beerus and Moro first met, I can imagine the discussion, especially millions of years ago when he was far more ruthless. You know, before Goku and Vegeta made him into one of the gang. Beerus would have shown up quickly with Whis to confront Moro destroying a planet. After the introductions, and Moro being a wizard with exceptional senses, would have realized that Lord Beerus is just completely out of his league and no match for a god of destruction. So Moro, being wise to know his limits, would have to listen to what Beerus says. Beerus, excited at seeing a planet die, would probably thank Moro for his destruction abilities, but this praise would come with a warning. Beerus would state, "So you are Planet Eater Moro. I appreciate you doing my work for me, but realize that I can't have you destroying everything or any planet that contains delicious food. So perhaps we can come to some sort of agreement." Moro, sensing Beerus' power and an even stranger one with Whis standing behind him, would be put in a position where he can do nothing but listen. Moro mutters out, "What type of agreement do you have in mind, Lord Beerus?" "I see that you're going from planet to planet, absorbing their life force. What a splendid technique, very effective. However, I forbid you from destroying these planets because their food is too delicious. With you around, I can visit these planets, eat as much as I want, and sleep. You can eat as many of these worthless planets with no tasty food as you please. However, if at any point you cross our agreement and force me to wake up out of my slumber, I will erase you from existence. Simply put, there isn't anything in this universe I can't erase. So, do we have a deal?" Moro slyly looks at Beerus and says, "But of course. All I need are planets full of energy, and I can leave all these other planets for you, my lord." Beerus says great, and to solidify the deal, he raises his hand and destroys the planet in front of them. Moro, stunned by the overwhelming power of Beerus and ease at which he destroyed the planet, made him realize it will be a long time till he can contend with such an adversary. Now, with the deal being done, Beerus goes on his way to do as he pleases, and Moro continues on with his plan to absorb energy to gain more power, perhaps with the final goal now to be stronger than the gods. Which brings us to the flashback of Moro fighting the Grand Supreme Kai 10 million years ago, and how he was wanted for the destruction of 320 planets in the Aragi system. It is likely that this entire system was fair game and allowed to be destroyed by Beerus. Since Beerus didn't care about this destruction by Moro, the only individual that was sworn to protect life had to deal with him at this time, who was the Lord of Lords himself, the Grand Supreme Kai. Whether or not Beerus knew that Moro was fighting the Grand Supreme Kai remains to be seen. For all we know, Whis was keeping a close eye on the situation. It is also possible that Beerus drifted off into a slumber, knowing that Moro wouldn't dare cross him and knowing that his job was being done, so there wasn't a thing to be concerned with. Typical Beerus. We know how all this turned out, of course. In a life-risking attack, the Grand Supreme Kai sealed Moro's magic on that day. He was then able to be captured and forced to be imprisoned because no one possessed the power to actually execute Moro. So there he remained in a Galactic Patrol prison for 10 million years. That is a long time to think about revenge on the Grand Supreme Kai and plot a way to gain enough power to make sure not even Beerus will be able to defeat him. Which brings us to where we are today. We have 4 days until the next chapter of the manga comes out, and Moro's battle with Goku, Vegeta, and the Grand Supreme Kai is about to hit its climax. Moro, learning of the Dragon Balls, made a final wish, and one that they have built up for several chapters. A wish that when Moro asked the dragon, he was unsure if it could even be completed. Could this wish have something to do with a deviant plan to upset the god hierarchy and overthrow Beerus? Moro seems to have all the confidence in the world despite his enemies that stand in front of him. Will Goku, Vegeta, and the Grand Supreme Kai be defeated and force Lord Beerus to appear? I think this is a direction that all his fans would love in Dragon Ball Super, and I can't wait to read the upcoming chapter and see what happens. I hope everyone is having an amazing week and enjoyed this story of how Beerus and Moro not only know each other, but indeed met and had an agreement millions of years ago. Do you agree that something like this has happened with what we know? Do you think that Beerus might eventually have to step into this fight, and that is why we had a preview of Whis watching for foreshadowing of things to come? I always love to hear your theories and thoughts in the comments below. I also wanted to let you know that YouTube can be funky at times with notifications and makes it hard to communicate with everyone, so please be sure to follow me on Twitter for news, updates, topics, and to ask me questions. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it and smash that like button, and please subscribe and turn on the notification bell to keep those theories coming.